Hi everyone, welcome back to Days in the Life of a Psychology Student. I just started a new term, and for this term I'm going to be taking a psychological testing and assessment course. I actually have the book here and I also have the ebook. And I'm also going to be taking a social psychology course. So I'm particularly excited for the psychological testing and assessment because they do have a section on counseling and clinical assessments, and that's really interesting to me. So I'm really excited to learn more and delve deeper into all of the information that this book has. But like I said, a new term has begun, and this is the first week of my psychology courses. So the first week is always about settling into the new course, prepping, making sure that I have everything in the agenda, and making sure that I read the syllabus and rubrics, and just making sure that I read all the essentials on Brightspace, which is the online platform that I use to take the online psychology classes. Yeah, so I'm just going to log in to Brightspace and check my emails and then take it from there. So first, I'm going to be looking through the syllabus for each of the courses and taking notes on paper to see what I have to get completed, all the assignments for the term. And then after that, I'm going to be filling out the agenda for the first week. So just looking at the first module and seeing everything that I have to get completed for this first week for each of the courses. Yeah, so basically today is a Sunday. It's like a prep day, preparing for the week. And tomorrow I'm going to be starting on the actual reading and all the tasks for the assignments, and continue that throughout the week. So I finished reading the syllabus and looking through all of the weekly assignment schedule and taking notes on that for the first course. The first course is measurement and assessment. And to give you an overview of like the main objectives for this course, of things that I'm going to be learning, it's basically analyzing and assessing test and assessment results, psychological tests and assessment results, and just examining the ethical issues related to test and assessment, administration, and interpretation. So reading through the course outcomes, it does says that some things that it says on here is like assess the primary tools and methods used for the development of psychological tests and assessment for the validity and reliability. So this course does go through validity and reliability, which is something that I learned in the psychology methods courses, or actually the research methods and psychology courses that I took. So this course is going to be delving into validity and reliability when it comes to psychological tests and assessments, and also the ethical issues for the psychological tests and assessments, like interpreting those tests and assessments, which ethical issues may occur and all that. So I'm going to be learning about that, and also about the cultural and environmental factors of psychological testment and assessments, the psychometric principles for interpreting and evaluating the results of psychological measurements instruments, and distinguishing between the different psychological tests and assessments for their application. So it's a lot that I'm going to be learning when it comes to measurement and assessment. Since I did read through the weekly assignments for this course, I'm gonna go to the second course, which is social psychology, and read through the syllabus, take notes on that. For social psychology, it's differs from the other course. So for this one, the outcomes are to analyze social psychological research and determine how the field has evolved, and also access the impact of social psychological research trends and what influence they had on human behavior. And then analyze the elements of social psychological research and influence on improving social welfare. Evaluate the influence of social psychological research on society and its efficacy on social change. Analyze ethical issues in social psychological research for determining strategies to use in scientific research. So I took notes on all the assignments that are in the syllabus for this course. I'm going to get started with writing all the tasks on the agenda for week 1 for both of the courses. So I finished the agenda and put all the tasks that I'm going to be completing for the week on each of the days, and I'm going to be giving you an overview of each of the tasks that I'm going to be doing. So basically for the two courses that I'm taking, just to reiterate, is psychological testing and assessment. That's the first course. And the second course is social psychology. And I'm going to be doing on Monday Module 1 for both of the courses. Then I have to read Chapter 1 and the resources for the first course, and read the resources for the second course. Final project review document. So I have to review a document that lists all of the facts for the final project, and I have to take notes on that, and that's for both courses. And then I also have to review this is a non-graded task, so all I have to do is review a course introduction and career resources for both of the courses. And then for the second course, which is social psychology, I have to do a getting started introductions. And I think that's a kind of like a discussion, the first discussion. For some of the courses, we do have more than one discussion for 1 week. Usually it's only one discussion for each course. And then for Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a journal assignment. I'm also going to be reading a peer-reviewed journal on the history of social psychology. And this peer-reviewed journal is going to help me on my short paper that I have to do for that course. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a discussion for both courses. And then on Thursday, that's when I'm going to be doing the short paper for the social psychology course. And then on Friday, I'm going to be replying to discussion threads, reviewing the grade book, and also applying to internships. And I also like to schedule a day in for weekly prep. So that's like to prep for the week and review the module that's going to be for that week. So on Sunday, I also have a weekly prep review module 2, which is just going to help me review all the different assignments that I have and prep for that week. As I've said, I've been also applying for internships, and so far I did a few follow-ups, and the internship that I'm hoping that I get is a clinical researcher. That's my first choice. The clinical research internship that I applied for should be replying this week because I did send a follow-up email. That's the one I'm really hoping that I'll get. If not, I'm also going to be applying for additional internships on Friday. I recommend scheduling a day where you can weekly prep, whether it's Sunday or Monday or whichever day that you like. Weekly prep just to review the module that you're going to be doing for that week, to see if you have to source any additional resources like peer-reviewed journal articles for discussions or assignments. The courses that I've taken, what I've learned is that a lot of the discussions or assignments require additional peer-reviewed journal articles other than the book for the course. So I find it useful and more productive to schedule that in the agenda, to read the peer-reviewed journal articles that are required for that assignment or that discussion. If any additional resources such as like peer-reviewed journal articles are required for that discussion or assignment. Usually assignments do require peer-reviewed journal articles to read those. Discussions, some of the discussions you get enough information from the book that you read, the chapter. Other discussions, they may require additional resources, and these resources are, like I said, peer-reviewed journal articles. It all depends. It varies for each of the discussion threads. Some of them you'll have enough information from the book of the chapter that you read. Other discussions, you'll also have to read additional resources. Yeah, so on my agenda, I have, for the discussion, it's going to be, discussing the role of biology and culture in social psychology. I'm not sure if the resources that are in the module, which is basically the resources that are in the module are the book, so we'll have to read the first chapter. If that provides enough information on the role of biology and culture in social psychology, then that would be efficient, but I'm not sure if it's going to provide enough information. So I may have to source an additional peer-reviewed journal article for that discussion question. It depends. I'm going to read through the chapter that's in the resources for that module and then choose if I need additional resources or not for that discussion question. From my experience as a psychology student, I definitely recommend for all the short papers or papers in general that you write, always including the headers above every paragraph, because it definitely improves clarity. So this is really important, especially with APA formats. If you get the APA manual book, it definitely explains everything there. Adding header also leads to higher grades. It improves the clarity and comprehension of the paper because everything is organized into headings and subheaders by using the APA formatted headings. It's definitely going to help your paper with organization and the structure, clustering each of the main points that you're going to be speaking about in the paper using headlines or headers. It's definitely going to help improve your papers. Definitely recommend that. I saw a difference. For me, I saw a difference with that versus the papers that didn't have headers, and the papers that had headers really made a difference to the paper that I submitted, and everything was a lot more organized, and I really like organizing with headers. At first I was like, oh, those are not relevant. I can just write everything and start a new paragraph for each of the points, and it really does make a difference. Throughout my journey as a psychology student, I also got to attend a career day. It was a virtual career day, and they basically did a lot of different webinars through Microsoft Teams. I learned a lot that can help me improve in aspects of my career, especially when it comes to resume, and when it also comes to sourcing opportunities like for volunteering or internships, and like apprenticeship programs, or like different things like that. It helped me discover new resources that I can use and that can definitely improve my career. So definitely recommend, if you have a career day, or whether it's virtual or on campus, definitely join those, because you're going to learn a lot of valuable information. If you struggle with time management, I definitely recommend keeping an agenda and listing all the to-dos for each of the weeks. And it just helps you keep organized, and getting to the tasks for that day first thing after you eat breakfast is definitely gonna, just prioritizing the tasks, definitely gonna help with time management and completing them. Definitely something that I use in my daily routine as a psychology student and recommend. What I found to be really efficient is my assignments are gonna have more quality if I just work on 1 or 2 assignments for that day. Yeah, so basically on Tuesday of this week, I have a journal assignment that I'm going to be doing. And then, of course, I'm going to be reviewing, reading the peer-reviewed journal. That's for the second course. For the first course, I have that journal assignment, and that is my main task for that day. And then on Thursday, I have the short paper, which is for the second course, and that is my main task for that day. So if you could only complete 1 or 2 assignments for that day, you're definitely you're gonna be more productive, and they're gonna have more quality. And also, of course, for all the assignments, making sure that you include the prepping steps that you have to do before you actually start on the assignment. Yeah, so that's definitely what I recommend doing, so that you can produce more quality and feel less overwhelmed. Just have that 1 or 2 projects that you have to complete for that day. What have you struggled with, and which solutions did you find? There's a lot of things that we can all struggle with, and there's so many solutions out there. I definitely recommend like tutoring or the wellness center. Whichever struggles you have, there's always a solution and resources that the academic counselor is definitely going to provide you with. At least from my experience, that's how it's been. I definitely recommend speaking about your struggles to the academic counselor. There's a lot of resources out there that they can provide you with. And yeah, I would love to hear your struggles and your solutions. So I'm excited to take all of you along with me on this journey for this first week of the term, and all the assignments that I have to get completed. So for today, it's just a prepping day, so I made sure to read the syllabus, take notes, and prep the agenda for the week. And basically, other than that, I'm going to be starting on my assignments and readings tomorrow. So see you then. Hi everyone, so what's on the agenda for today is getting started with Module 1 for both courses. So that is going to be what I'm going to be starting on, starting with the Measurement and Assessment course. So this week it's all about what is testing and assessment. They're going to be just teaching us students of what actually psychological testing is, what is psychological assessments are. So I'm going to go through the module introduction, the module overview, and then the reading and resources for this module, and then I'll get started on reading the first chapter. finished reading chapter 1 for the first course, and that took me like about 4 hours to finish. It was quite a long chapter and a lot to read, and I took notes and highlighted all the terms and terminology. And I'm going to be reading a resource that's in their reading and resources of the module. This resource just gives me an overview of the types of tests and how they're used by practitioners. So I'm going to be reading that resource and taking notes on index cards and making sure that I get the citation of that resource. So let me just read this one resource for this course. And then after that, after I finish reading this resource article, it looks like there's not a lot to read. It's just like a few paragraphs. It has like quite a few different sections on there also. Once I finish reading this resource and I finish taking notes on that resource, I'm going to be reading the final project document, reviewing that to prep, because that's an item that I have to get completed for Module 1, and also reading their course introduction and career resources, which I also have to read for this course. I finished all the to-dos on the agenda for the first course, which is psychological testing and assessment, and I'm starting on the second course, which is social psychology. First, I'm going to get started with reading the module, the first module, which is the module introduction, module overview, and reading and resources, and taking notes on all of that. And then I'm gonna get started with reading the first chapter for the course. The resources have the chapter that I need to read so that I can read that. And also read the final project document, review that to prep. And the course introduction and career resources, that's something that's in the module that I have to review and read. It just lists a lot of resources. This module is all about the history of social psychology. Hi everyone, welcome to Days in the Life of a Psychology Student. It's Tuesday and I'm actually going to get started with the social psychology course. I was supposed to do a getting started introductions. It's like a discussion thread. It's just introducing myself simply, so I'm going to get started on that first. I didn't get to it yesterday because there was a lot of reading that I had to do, and most of the day it was about reading chapters and resources. Today I'm going to be starting on the, that task that I didn't get to do yesterday, so I'm going to do that today. And then after I get that like introductions, a discussion thread. I'm going to be doing a journal assignment for the first course, which is psychological testing and assessment, and then reading a peer-reviewed journal all about the history of social psychology. And yeah, so those are my tasks for the day. So yeah, let me go ahead and get started with typing the thread for the discussion post. I finished the getting started introduction discussion thread, and I'm going to be starting on the journal assignment. So this journal assignment is for the psychological testing and assessment course. And basically for this journal assignment, I'm going to have to take an assessment, a self-assessment, and I chose the Holland personality test. And then from there, I'm going to be journaling and reflecting on my experience while I took the Holland personality test. So I'm going to be answering questions like, was the question selection fair? Did any of the test questions have bias? Were your results what you expected? What was the overall experience of taking the test? So that's what I have to journal on, and I'm going to be typing it on Microsoft Word. So I finished taking the Holland personality test. So my highest score was for the investigative occupational interest, and then from there they give you descriptions of like a career path or a few career paths that would be suited for that occupational interest, because they had a few different categories for occupational interest. There was realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. And I got the investigative occupational interest. I also recommend whenever you have assignments that require you to research peer-reviewed research journals, definitely always include an empirical peer-reviewed research journal. If the assignment asks you to include results or statistical findings, then the only type of peer-reviewed research journals that have that information are the empirical research journals. A lot of the assignments don't really operationalize or specify which types of peer-reviewed research journals that they require, or that the student needs to research for that assignment. And if the assignment doesn't really operationalize or like specify which types of peer-reviewed research journal you need to research. Always read the rubric, because if it includes that you need to explain the statistical findings or the results, then it's probably going to be an empirical research journal. A lot of students, when I was researching, said that they struggle with the type of peer-reviewed research journal for the assignment. Even though I agree that it's important for the assignment to specify and operationalize the type of peer-reviewed research journal that the student has to research, because there are a lot of types of peer-reviewed research journals, most of the assignments do not. If you research more than one peer-reviewed research journal for the assignment, definitely make sure that there's at least one empirical peer-reviewed research journal. Those are the ones that are really gonna they get into like the experiments and methodologies and results, and also discussing limitations and the strengths of the experiments, and etc. So definitely recommend always using an empirical research journal. Students feel uncertain because the peer-reviewed research journal wasn't specified or operationalized in the rubric for that assignment. And yeah, it would be useful if the type of peer-reviewed journal was specified in the rubric. If it doesn't, I definitely recommend always including an empirical peer-reviewed research journal. So I have one more task on the agenda for the day, and that is to read a peer-reviewed research journal for the social psychology class. The peer-reviewed research journal is about the history of social psychology, and I'm going to be reading that research journal and taking notes on index cards. And then when I complete that to-do, those are all of the assignments that I had to do for the day, and everything's going to be completed on the agenda. Okay, so I finished with the journal assignment, and I'm going to be completing the last task for the day, which is for the social psychology course. I'm going to be sourcing a peer-reviewed journal article on the history of social psychology, reading that, taking notes. Yeah, so reading this peer-reviewed journal on the history of social psychology is a prep. It's a prep step. It's a prepping step. It's going to help me prep for the short paper that I'm going to be writing on Thursday. So yeah, I have to get that started on that. So I'm going to go to the Shapiro Library and source a peer-reviewed journal on the history of social psychology. And I also wrote the main points on a sticky note of what I'm going to be taking notes on while I'm reading the peer-reviewed journal. So I'm using the PsycInfo database from the Shapiro Library to source a peer-reviewed journal article about the history of social psychology. So those are all the tasks that I have for today, and everything on the agenda is complete. I'll see you tomorrow. Hi everyone, so today is going to be all about discussion threads. I'm going to be doing the discussions for the first and second course. So let me get started on the measurement and assessment psychology course for their discussion. So the discussion this week for this course is Introduction and Assessment Tools. So it says here, discussing various assessment tools. So I have to summarize 1 or 2 points from the module's readings, the chapter that I read for this module on Monday. And I have to also, something that will lead me to consider conclusions about the assessment's effectiveness. It also says that I have to think of ways in my current or future fields in which assessment tools are used, and then which assessment tools are going to be used, and if I think they'll be effective, why or why not. And I have to discuss all about assessments. Psychological assessments are used to gain insights on different treatments that can be used in a patient's treatment plan. It also gives clarity into diagnostic information, and also when it comes to the personality, if they want to analyze their personality and make sure that the treatment plan that they provide, or the methodologies, or actually the modalities that they provide the patient, to make sure that it's going to be suited for their personality or their characteristics or traits. And it can also be for to inform research as well. So assessments are a really common tool that is used in the psychology fields, and not in only the psychology fields, but in a lot of other fields also. So psychological assessments are definitely all about psychological evaluation and being able to, maybe the psychologist does behavioral observation. That's one type of psychological assessment. For the social psychology course, the discussion is about biology and culture. So I have to describe the role of biology and culture in the field of social psychology, and how I think the field is going to change because of how it's evolved. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be for this discussion thread. Hi everyone, so on the agenda I have a short paper to write for the social psychology class, and basically this short paper is going to be about, I'm going to be writing about how the field of social psychology changed throughout history. Then I'm going to be writing about who is the most significant contributor to the evolution of social psychology, and then how does the knowledge of social psychology's history inform analysis of modern social psychology theories and research. So that is basically what this short paper is going to be all about. And yeah, so I'm going to be typing it on Microsoft Word and including all the headings for each of the sections. And then I already have the research on index cards that I did on Tuesday. So I read a peer-reviewed research journal on the history of social psychology, and I have all of my research on the index cards. On the agenda, I have to reply to at least 2 discussion threads from other students' posts. I also like to view the gradebook every Friday, make sure that I read the comments that I get and take notes on that so that I can keep on improving, and also apply for internships. I'm going to continue to apply for additional clinical research internship. Hopefully I can find an internship by May or August of this year. Yeah, so on Fridays I don't really have that much assignments usually. So for the first course, which is psychological testing and assessment, on the discussion threads I have to reply to two other students and consider whether I agree with their assessments of the effectiveness of the tests. For the social psychology course, I have to also reply to two other discussion threads.